Okay, good day everyone. Today's lesson is about Piaget's cognitive development theory. This is under chapter 3 of our course syllabus. So after completing this lesson, you will be able to, number one, explain terms and concepts associated with Piaget's cognitive theory, discuss the stages of cognitive development, and identify teaching strategies that are supportive to Piaget's theory. So this is important learning theories for you to know because you will be teaching diverse learners. Ano po? So at the end of the lesson is our goal is to understand and have an application of the different stages of the Piaget's cognitive development theory. So in this theory of cognitive development, Jean Piaget argued that children's cognitive development is influenced by biological maturation and their interaction with the environment. Children undergo a similar order or stages of development, and owing a varied circumstances that children are exposed to, the rate at which children go through the stages differ. And some children may even miss the later stages of the cognitive development. So ibig sabihin, there are so many factors that will affect the cognitive development of the children. But our focus more is about how Piaget's or Jean Piaget's discussed and discover this theory. So what was Piaget's belief about cognitive development? Once conscious, how does the mind grow? So in a developmental psychologist or as a developmental psychologist, Jean Piaget spent his life searching for the answer. So he studied the development of children's cognition. Pag sinabi nating children's cognition or cognition, these are all mental activities that are associated with thinking, knowing, remembering, and communicating. These are all the aspects of how the mental activities of the students or the learners or the children are being uh, processed. So how do we make sense of our experiences? To explain how cognitive development happens, um, okay, so Piaget introduces the concept of schema, assimilation, and accommodation. So he defines schema as a cohesive, repeatable action sequence processing component actions that are tightly interconnected and governed by a core meaning. For example, in this picture, you can see that a schema or a model for a doggy might include 4 legs, furry coat, long tail, wet tongue, cold nose, friendly, and a fun. So yan yung tinatawag nating schema. Ano po? Please take a look at the picture. A 2-year-old Alexandra learned the schema for a doggy from the picture of his books. So he can associate the picture or he can create a schema on that dog that uh, different kinds of animals with 4 legs, with long tail, with wet tongue, cold nose, and a friendly is a dog. Now let's continue. How does a child add new items to an existing schema? When the first seeing a cat, a child may think of it in relation to their schema of a doggy. So nung nakakita na yung bata ng pusa, pwede niyang ma-connect yung kanyang schema sa aso na kapag merong 4 na legs, merong mahabang buntot, merong malamig na ilong, tapos friendly, pwede niya na yun ma-assimilate sa dog. Where in fact, he is or she is looking for a cat. Assimilate to this new example into their existing idea. So ina-assimilate niya yung mga nakita niyang characteristics doon sa sa aso, na-assimilate niya doon sa nakita niyang pusa. Sabi daw dito, Alexandra sees a cat and calls it a doggy. She is trying to assimilate the new animal into an existing schema. Her mother tells her, no, it's a cat. So, paano papasok naman ngayon yung new idea sa kanya na hindi lahat ng klase ng hayop na may 4 na paa, malamig na ilong, and so on and so forth, ay dog. What if a new example doesn't fit our existing schema, like the cat? If the new example does not quite fit the schema, we receive correction and need to modify our understanding. This is called accommodation. So kanina, yung schema ng bata ay tungkol dun sa aso. Yung different characteristics and physical appearance ng aso. Nung nakakita siya ng pusa, na-assimilate niya yung characteristics ng aso dun sa pusa because they have actually similar characteristics when it comes to physical appearance. Now, how this schema and assimilation will be corrected, this is through accommodation, building and modifying our understanding. How does accommodation increase cognition? Yan, papasok na yan dyan. By accommodating or changing the existing schema and adding new characteristics to distinguish doggy from a cat, we begin to increase cognitive understanding of our world. Now, through the help of the parents, they are going to describe and explain to the child the differences between a dog and a cat, na hindi lahat ng klase ng hayop na friendly, may malambot na balahibo, malamig na ilong ay aso. Pwede yan makategorize sa iba't iba pang klase ng hayop like cat. Ano po? Alexandra accommodates her schema for furry four-legs animals, distinguishing dogs from cats. Over time, her schema become more sophisticated as she learns to distinguish the pets of family and friends by name. Ano po? So, yung naging example natin dito ay yung animals na dog and cat. From schema of different characteristics, pumasok na yung assimilation from other same animals and yung accommodation in which identifying now or categorizing the different kinds of animals with 4 legs, long tails, and cold nose. Ano po? Another example of this was a flying objects. Ano po? Yung bata pwedeng kapag nakakita siya ng ibon na lumilipad, kapag nakakita siya ng objects na lumilipad, pwede niyang sabihin niya na sa schema niya, yun ay bird. Diba? Pag nakakita yung bata, may lumilipad, pwede niyang sabihin na daw, ano yan, ibon yan. Pero once na nakakita naman yung bata ng eroplano na lumilipad, yung schema niya doon is, pwede niya ulit yung tawaging ibon kasi lumilipad. Ang schema niya is lahat ng klase ng bagay na lumilipad ay ibon. Papasok na yung assimilation. Ano yung naging characteristics ng bird saka ng airplane. At papasok na din yung accommodation na kung saan hindi lahat ng klase ng lumilipad ay ibon. Pwedeng airplane, pwedeng ibang klase ng mga insects or animals. Okay, let's try it and put it all together. Talk through the steps in the image above using your new vocabulary. Look at the first picture. Yung bata, ang schema niya doon sa dog ay yung binanggit natin kanina na mga characteristics. Nung nakakita siya ng cat, inassimilate niya yung characteristics ng dog doon sa cat. At when the parents help her understand the schema and the assimilation, i-accommodate niya na ngayon yung different characteristics ng dogs and ng cat, in which maalalaman na ng bata ngayon yung pagkakaiba-iba ng characteristics ng mga animals. Ano po? Okay. Let's proceed. Schemas develop throughout the lifespan. Although Piaget studied the development of schemas and the assimilation and accommodation of them, in children, this process continues throughout the lives as we bring new information into our experiences. Let's consider some changes to schemas that we may have accommodated in the latter life. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang doon sa infant development nangyayari yung schema. Ano pa, from time to time, kahit nandun na tayo sa adolescent stage, nandun na tayo sa early adulthood, nasa adulthood na tayo, and late adulthood stage, pumapasok pa rin yung schema natin. Ano? Okay. How our schema of love change over the time? Ito, a generation ago, most people had a schema of marriage as a union between a man and a woman. Yun yung schema natin before, and until now, may mga tao pa rin na naniniwala na ang marriage ay para lang sa mga babae at lalaki. That is in accordance with their beliefs, with their traditions, different factors kung bakit yun yung schema nila. But in 2001, the Netherlands was the first country to change its marriage law to accommodate same-sex marriage. Today, more than 20 other countries have also legalized same-sex marriage. So, ibig sabihin, yung schema before ng ibang tao na ang pag-aasawa ay para lang sa lalaki at babae, ngayon hindi na. Mag-assimilate na ngayon sila or i-accommodate na nila yung bagong knowledge and informations about same-sex marriage because in some other countries, accepted na yung ganitong klase ng traditions. So that is a concrete example of how schema, assimilation, and accommodation happens. This is very important in the different stages of Piaget's cognitive development kasi kumbaga part yan nung mga stages natin. Okay, let's talk about what are Piaget's 4 stages of cognitive development. Piaget believed that children construct their understanding of the world while interacting with it. In Piaget's view, cognitive development consisted of 4 major stages. We have sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. Let's have the sensory motor stage. In Piaget's theory, the stage for sensory motor is from birth to nearly 2 years of age. So during which infants know the world mostly in terms of their sensory impressions, what they see, what they hear, what they feel, and how motor activities being done. Children at this stage think through what they see, they hear, they move, touch, and taste. But there are 2 major accomplishments happen at this stage. One of which is object permanence. They believe that an object still exists even if it is not within the sight of the child. So, ibig sabihin, kahit hindi nakikita ng bata, yung isang bagay, once na nakita na nila yan before, it still exists. What is object permanence? Young infants lack object permanence, the awareness that objects continue to exist even when not perceived. How did Piaget test object permanence? Okay, paano ba ito na-discover at paano niya ito na-test? Very young babies seems to live in the present. Out of sight is out of mind. Ibig sabihin, karamihan ng mga bata ngayon na kapag hindi nila nakikita, hindi naman talaga nag-exist. Yun yung kulang sa mga bata ngayon kung bakit wala silang object permanence. In one test, Piaget showed an infant an appealing toy and then covered it with his hat. Before the age of 6 months, the infant acted as if the toy ceased to exist. By 8 months, infant began exhibiting memory for these things no longer seen and searched for the toy. So they acquire object permanence. Ibig sabihin, bago mag 6 months yung mga bata, yung object permanence, hindi na, kumbaga hindi pa pumapasok. Kapag hindi nila nakikita, wala yung bagay. But during 8 months and above, nagsisimula na nilang malaman yung object permanence. Kumbaga, kapag nakita nila yung isang bagay at nawala sa kanilang paningin, hahanapin na nila to. That is because even though this object do not exist within their vision, alam nilang meron. And they're going to look for it. That is object permanence. There are criticisms of Piaget's development. Sabi ng mga researchers, they believe that Piaget and his followers underestimated young children's competence and that infants are smarter than Piaget's appreciated. Young children think little Like scientists, they test ideas, make casual inferences, and learn from statistical patterns. That is according to Gopnik et al. In 2015. Ibig sabihin, some researchers do not believe in the theory of Piaget's kasi there are so many factors also that kumbaga hindi nakuha ni Piaget kung paano niya yun ma-develop. Ano po, hindi naman kasi talaga lahat ng bagay ay permanente na kapag yung isang bagay nangyari sa isang bata, uniform na yon para sa lahat. Hindi po. Kaya meron din mga findings sa mga researchers na meron pang iba't ibang kakayahan ng mga bata kung paano nila na-assimilate, na-accommodate yung mga bagong information na na-acquire ng kanilang knowledge. Okay, now let's talk about what is the pre-operational stage. In Piaget's theory, the stage is from about 2 years to 6 or 7 years of age, during which a child learns to use language but does not yet comprehend the mental operations of concrete logic. Basically, ito yung mga bata na they can really speak fluently, but they do not really understand what they are speaking or what they are talking about. Ano po? Because they can easily learn the language, pero hindi nila yung naiintindihan. So at this stage, children have yet mastered mental operations because they use action schemes connected to physical manipulation, but not in a logical reasoning. By operations, it means that actions a person carries out by thinking them through instead of performing them. Mas maganda yung, kumbaga, dun sa stage ng operations, dito sa pre-operational stage, yung mga bata, mas naintindihan nila yung mga bagay-bagay kapag ginagawa nila, pero hindi nila pinag-iisipan. The case of kindergarten learners using sticks to count illustrate their pre-operational stage. Okay, for example, yung mga kindergarten students natin, tinuturuan natin magbilang using chalkboard. Hindi nila mas madaling maiintindihan unless ipagawa mo yun sa kanila. Kasi nga, di ba, meron tayong tinatawag na learning by doing. Ibig sabihin, they can really understand what they are learning if they are doing. Okay, so let's talk about conservation. Kasi conservation is very important in this stage. Ano po? So the principle which Piaget believed to be part of a concrete operational reasoning, that properties such as mass, volume, and number remain the same despite changes in the forms of an object. Kasi meron tayong mga paniniwala niyan minsan na kahit palitan mo yung size ng isang object, pare-pareho lang din naman yung mga laman. Or sometimes, kapag mas mataas yung object, mas marami siyang laman. But we are not actually looking for the mass, the volume of an object. Let's have an example. How did Piaget test for conservation? This visually focused pre-operational child does not yet understand the principle of conservation. When the milk is poured into a tall, narrow glass, it suddenly seems like more than when it was in the shorter and wider glass. In another year or so, she will understand that the amount stays the same. Okay. Look at the first picture. So sa first picture, pareho lang yung volume o yung laman ng baso. With the same size, with the same shape, pareho lang yung laman. Pero dun sa second picture, sinalin ngayon yung isang baso dun sa mas mataas na baso, pero mas payat. Ano po? And looking at it, yung bata, wala pa siyang sense ng conservation kasi pinili niya yung sa tingin niya mas marami ang laman kasi nga 'di ba kung i-compare mo yung laman ng milk doon sa mababang baso sa mataas na baso, parang mas maraming tingnan yung nasa mataas without knowing that the volume of those two glasses of milk are only the same. Ano po? So sa paglipas ng panahon or kapag mas na-develop pa yung knowledge ng bata sa conservation, maiintindihan niya yung concept ng size, ng volume, ng shape, and ng mass. Ano po, na kahit palitin mo ang shape ng object na paglalagyan mo ng milk, pareho lang naman yung volume niya. Okay, so let's add what is egocentrism. In Piaget's theory of pre-operational child's difficulty taking another's points of view. Ano ba yung egocentrism na sinasabi natin? A 4-year-old girl shows her grandpa a match on 2 memory game cards with matching pictures that are faced her, not her grandpa. Okay, so she is trying to show something sa kanyang grandpa, pero without knowing na kahit ipakita niya yon sa kanyang lolo, hindi naman makikita talaga yung representation ng objects kasi nga nakaharap dun sa bata. Ano po? Okay, what are the other examples of egocentrism? As to show mommy your picture, a 2-year-old Gabriela holds the picture up facing her own eyes. So yung bata, gusto niya talagang ipakita, katulad nung sa grandpa kanina, gusto niya talagang ipakita yung picture doon sa kanyang mama. Pero yung picture actually nakaharap sa kanya, hindi nakaharap sa kanyang mama. So that is egocentrism, na akala nila na kapag nakikita nila, nakikita rin ng kanilang mga magulang, or nakikita rin nung gusto nilang doon sa gusto nilang ipakita yung picture. 3-year-old Gray makes himself invisible by putting his hands over his eyes, assuming that if he can see his grandparents, they can see him. O katulad niyan, may mga bata na naglalaro na ang concept nila ng invisible kapag hindi nila nakikita, hindi rin sila nakikita, katulad ng ginagawa ng bata na to. Para maging invisible siya, ang ginawa niya, tinakpan niya yung mata niya. At ang kanyang at sa kanyang pagkakaintindi na kapag hindi niya nakikita, hindi rin siya nakikita. That is his concept of being invisible. That is part of egocentrism. A 4-year-old Nora shows her aunt her new toys over a telephone call, thinking her aunt can see them too. Oh, 'di ba? Pinapakita niya, may katawagan siya sa telepono. Pinapakita niya, I have my new toys. Knowing na over the phone makikita ng auntie niya yung bago niyang laruan. Where in fact, hindi naman talaga. Ano po, that is egocentrism. That is part of a pre-operational stage. How this will be corrected? This can be corrected through the help of facilitating the accommodation, assimilating, and other concepts of developing the cognitive aspects of the child. Okay, now let's go to the third stage. What is the concrete operational stage? In Piaget's theory, the stage of cognitive development is about 7 to 11 years of stage. So during which children gain the mental operation that enable them to think logically about events. Kanina, more on objects, more on situational activities. Now, in a concrete operational stage, we will now go to a higher understanding of logical events. Let's have the child humor. Mr. Jones went into a restaurant and ordered a whole pizza for his dinner. When the waiter asked if he wanted it to cut into 6 or 8 pieces, Mr. Jones said, "Oh, you'd better make it 6. I could never eat 8 pieces." So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Diba? Akala niya na kapag kinat yung pizza into 8 pieces, mas marami at mas mabubusog siya. Without knowing na kahit hatiin niya lang sa 4 or sa 6 yung isang buong pizza, pareho lang din yung volume nun. Pareho lang din yung dami. Ano po? That is part of concrete operational stage. This type of joke would be readily understood by a child in a concrete operational stage. Kumbaga, kapag na-develop na talaga yung cognitive aspects ng bata dito sa concrete operational stage, pagtatawanan niya na yung batang hindi naiintindihan yung ganitong aspects ng ng pagkain ng pizza. Ano po? Kasi sa concrete operational stage, children begins about first grade to early adolescence around 11 years of age. They can think logically about concrete or hands-on problems. They understand conservation and organizes things into categories and in series. They can reverse thinking to mentally undo actions and understand the past, present, and the future. Kumbaga, they are now starting to develop different concepts under concrete operational stage. Kasi this is already the stage in which they can already identify which are right and wrong. They can erase or they can undo things that they have learned inappropriately. Ano pa, they can now understand the different situations in the world. That is concrete operational stage. Now let's continue with what is formal operational stage, the fourth stage of Piaget's cognitive development. So in this theory, this is normally begins with 12 years old and above, during which people begin to think logically about abstract concepts. So pumapasok na dito yung abstract concepts. What characterizes the formal operational stage? So by the age of 12, our reasoning expands from the purely concrete, so involving actual experience. Kapag nagde-decide na dito yung mga estudyante or yung mga bata, kung nire-relate na nila yung actual experience nila before. To encompass abstract thinking involving imagined realities and symbols. They are now trying to weigh up their options. Binabalance nila yung mga options nila that if they do this, what will happen? If they do that, what will happen? Connecting their actual experiences, connecting their imaginations into realities and symbols. As children approach adolescence, Piaget said that they can ponder hypothetical propositions and deduce consequences. If this, then that. Semantic reasoning, what Piaget called formal operational thinking, is now within their grasp. They can actually think hypothetically and deductively. Thinking becomes more scientific. Kumbaga, it undergo processes, solve abstract problems logically. They can consider multiple perspectives and develop concerns about social issues, personal identity, and justice. They are now starting to discuss political aspects. They can now start discuss the pros and cons of a certain decision making. Pumapasok na dito yung abilities and talents nila sa balance ng kanilang reasoning. So why is it Piaget's theory important in education? So dito na tayo ngayon sa teaching implications. Bakit ba kailangan natin pag-aralan ang Piaget's cognitive development theory? Ano ba yung role nito sa education? Piaget's cognitive theory has a significant implications for education. It has several interesting applications in the classroom. Number one for that is constructivism. Paano papasok ang constructivism? Piaget's theory emphasizes the importance of active, hands-on learning experience. Teachers can encourage students to construct their own understanding of concepts. They can be done by providing opportunities for exploration, experimentation, and problem solving. Through the help of the different stages of Piaget's cognitive development, papasok ang constructivism dito. Paano niyo yun gagawin sa loob ng classroom? Through different learning activities. Exploration, you let your student discover. Experimentations, how these things happen by conducting an experiment, and problem solving. Ano po? In that way, makakapag-construct yung mga estudyante natin ng bagong knowledge, ma-assimilate nila at ma-accommodate nila yung bagong knowledge. Developmentally appropriate practice. Piaget's theory suggests that individuals progress through predictable stages of cognitive development. Teachers can use this knowledge to ensure that they are providing appropriate and relevant activities and materials for their student. This is based on their current stages of development. For example, nasa kindergarten yung estudyante, dapat yung teacher ang pinoprovide niyang activities sa mga estudyante is for kindergarten. If the teacher is teaching for grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, and grade 6, and so on and so forth, the needs to identify the interest and level of understanding of the student is really needed. Ano po? Because the teacher cannot provide a developmentally appropriate activities for the student's level if he or she do not know this kind of aspects. Next, differentiation. Piaget's theory highlights individual differences in cognitive development. Teachers can use this knowledge to differentiate their instruction to meet the needs of all learners. We are catering diverse learners. We are teaching different learning styles, different learning preferences of the students. So we are going to use differentiation. You need to provide different activities to a fast learner students. You need to provide an average activities for an average students. Ano po, ile-level natin yung mga activities na binibigay natin sa estudyante. That's why in one classroom activities, meron diyang differentiated activities na binibigay ang teacher. Kasi maboboring yung iba o yung iba naman mahihirapan sila. Next one is the scaffolding. Piaget's theory suggests that learners require support and guidance from more knowledgeable others in order to progress through stages of cognitive development. Teachers can use scaffolding techniques such as modeling, cueing, and prompting to support student learning. Basically, actually, ang scaffolding nangyayari yan in the beginning of the lessons. Ano po, nagpo-provide yung mga teachers ng questions, bridging towards the presentations of the lessons. Nagbibigay siya ng mga cue. Or sometimes, by showing an example, a model, or a realia, ginagamit yon ng teacher para mas ma-develop yung knowledge and understanding ng bata sa isang concept or lesson. That is scaffolding. Next is assessment. Piaget's theory suggests that learners construct their own understanding of concepts. For this reason, instead of focusing on the final product, assessment should focus on the process of learning. Teachers can use formative assessment to monitor students' progress and provide feedback to that supports further learning. Ayan. In a classroom activities or in a teaching learning instruction, hindi nawawala ang assessment. Ano po? This is sometimes in a form of question and answer portion. This is sometimes in a form of interconnecting or relating one's experience to another or conducting formative and summative assessment. This is to identify kung nasaan na yung bata. Ano po? Hindi lang tayo basta-basta nagfo-focus doon sa after or doon sa end results ng lessons natin. Dapat nagkakandak tayo ng assessment to identify at which level na nasan yung bata. That is assessment. And when we identify the level of the students, doon tayo pumapasok para mag-provide ng feedback. Doon natin ibibigay kung ano ba yung dapat i-improve, ano yung dapat i-develop, i-enrich, or ano yung dapat bigyan ng focus ng mga bata when it comes to their learnings. Next, curriculum development. Importante ang cognitive development theory ni Piaget sa curriculum development. How? For example, teachers can create activities that are based on the stage of cognitive development of their students. This is to ensure that students are challenged but not overwhelmed. Ang binibigay ng the Department of Education or ng Commission on Higher Education na curriculum sa mga institutions are very general. We have this what we call contextualizations and localizations of curriculum na kung saan inile-level natin yung itinuturo natin sa mga estudyante sa kung anong klaseng learnings meron sila within their community, dun sa belief nila, sa traditions nila, sa aspect ng na kinabibilangan, sa aspect ng buhay na kung saan sila nabibilang. That is curriculum development. Minomodify natin yung curriculum na binibigay sa atin ng Department of Education and ng Commission on Higher Education para mas ma-address natin yung pangangailangan ng mga estudyante. Next is instructional design. Piaget's theory can be used to design instructional methods that are appropriate for each stage of cognitive development. For example, teachers can use hands-on activities to teach young children, while other or older children can benefit from more abstract thinking exercises. Iyan. Pagkatapos ng curriculum development, papasok ang instructional design. Naka-level, di ba? Yung itinuturo natin sa mga bata. For example nga, sa kindergarten kanina, instead na ituro mo yung addition using chalk and board, mas madali mong maituturo sa mga bata or mas madaling maintindihan din ng mga bata yung concept ng addition kapag gagamitan mo sila ng appropriate instructional materials. Kunwari, nagtuturo ka naman ng floating and sinking. What are the materials that float and what are the materials that sink? Hindi mo yan basta-basta lang maipapaintindi sa mga bata kung hindi mo gagamitan ng appropriate instructional materials and design. Dapat laging nakaparallel yan. Individualized instruction. So by understanding the unique needs of each student, educator can design instruction that is tailored to their specific stage of cognitive development. This is to ensure that students are challenged but not overwhelmed. Ibig sabihin din, kung ano yung pangangailangan ng bata, kung mas mataas yung knowledge na dapat ma-acquire niya, bibigyan mo siya ng activities na mas makaka-challenge sa kanila. Pero, you need to consider na dapat hindi siya ma-overwhelm dun sa activities na minsan may mga teachers naman na porket fast learners yung mga estudyante, ang daming ibibigay na activities. Mahirap na yung mga questions, marami pa yung items. Dapat hindi ganun. Individualized instructions and differentiated instruction are interrelated with each other. So as you can see, Piaget's cognitive development theory provides important insights into how individuals develop cognitively. The above implications of the theory can be used to guide educational practices that support students in constructing their own understanding of concepts and progressing through stages of cognitive development. Napakalaking tulong talaga ng mga napakalaking tulong talaga ng mga theories sa pag-develop at pag-enhance ng educational practices. So in conclusion, Piaget's cognitive theory provides a comprehensive framework for understanding human development, intelligence in cognitive stages. The theory has several implications, including the importance of assimilation, accommodation processes in learning, and the significance of cognitive stages in acquiring knowledge. By understanding Piaget's theory, we can appreciate the complexity of human cognition and the importance of continuous learning and development throughout our lives. So through the help of this cognitive development, we can easily understand how the student or a child learn from a simple to complex concepts. So I hope you learned something about the different stages of Piaget's cognitive development theory and how this help to educational activities. So that would be all for our discussion in this theory. I will be posting an activity relating to this discussion later. So thank you so much and you have a good day.